We are at India Camp 2024 and we have with us Mr. Radharamanan G. Panicker, Managing Director, Dangerous Goods Management India Private Limited. Good afternoon, sir.
Hi. Nice to be with you today.
Would you talk about your company, DGM India?
We are a total logistic compliance company related to transportation of dangerous goods, from making sure the packing, marking, labeling of the packages are done correctly, to providing the packaging solutions, to making sure that the shipment is shipped to the destination in a compliant manner. And therefore, we also even do forwarding. But a major activity also that we do is that of training people in how to transport dangerous goods in accordance with the regulation. So we provide training in the regulatory space, both for air as well as ocean. We also do audit and consulting work. We check the whether the company is compliant in terms of their warehousing, storage, procedures that they are supposed to be doing with respect to transportation of dangerous goods. So all in all, we are anything and everything to do with dangerous goods transportation and compliance.
So how many chemical companies are following the procedure, and what are the challenges that you are facing in terms of chemical companies with respect to dangerous goods?
You asked a very controversial question, but when it comes to air cargo, I think because of the very high regulatory oversight, issues are not so much complicated. But in ocean cargo, because the cargo goes in the box, what I put inside the box, nobody knows unless there is a problem. I can, decorate the box with a hazard label, but inside I may not be having a compliant packaging, which are marked properly and all that. So, to answer your question and to make a very wild guess, I think 10 to 15% of the people who are shipping are not compliant. And I would say largely these are not the manufacturer or the big companies. They are basically traders who do not understand what the requirement of regulation is, how to transport dangerous goods. The other major challenge that is faced is we do not have reliable data in terms of the product information. What is the product? What is the hazard classification? What is the UN number? That is a major drawback, because we don't have something like a REACH regulation in India where the products are registered and therefore we get the exact data. People pick up what we call the material safety data sheet from wherever they can get off, try to match it with their product and say this is my MSDS. And MSDS becomes a standard document which people use for classification, which is wrong. You should have technical data, technical information of the product before you start the classification process. So that is a major challenge, and this is one of the reasons why shipping line like MSC has made it compulsory to have vanning audits, which is basically nothing but survey of the shipment at the time of containerization to make sure that what goes in the container is compliant packages, documents are very clear, the cargo is classified and identified clearly so that they do not face any problem. So for shipping line, any incident becomes a huge cost and they have to bear a higher insurance premium when something like this keeps going on. Because for the insurance company, the shipping line is carrying the cargo. They make them responsible for the carriage and making sure that the cargo is proper and in compliance with the requirement. If something goes wrong, one knows it may be the shipper who is responsible, but for the insurance company, it's not shipper whom they're insuring, it's the shipping line they're insuring. So for them, they look at the ship vessel operator and say, okay, you should have taken more care. So at the end of the day, if people are not compliant, what happens is that the cost to the shipper will increase. Like for this vanning audit, the minimum charge, I am understanding the marketplaces, is around $300. Now you may do one container audit or you may do 10 container audit, but $300 is per day that cost comes to the shipper's account, which I think can be avoided if everybody becomes compliant.
And not following the process is because of education or because there is some lacunae in the existing law?
Well, as far as the ocean part is concerned, ocean is not so much regulated as in US and Europe. There is no inspection agency which will go to the port and check what is happening. You have DG Shipping who are responsible, but I don't think they have moved to that extent where they can go and inspect. In the case of air, the DG Civil Aviation has started some inspection of freight forwarders and all that to check if people are compliant or not. Yes, we do require a sort of a regulatory framework like US and Europe, where the regulator will go and pick up random containers and check and find out who are the people who are non-compliant. I do know for sure that they are collecting data right now of who are all the various shippers of dangerous goods, trying to create the data and see what can be done on those data points. I'm not too sure what action they're going to take in future, but yes, time has surely come, because India is going to become almost the second or third largest chemical producer in the world. So we are going to supply to the world, and we are going to move out a lot of dangerous goods. So unless until we take care of the problem now, we could be having a big issue coming up in the future.
So is it the responsibility of all in the ecosystem, or is it the responsibility of only the manufacturers?
No, everybody. I mean, as I understand that to a large extent, we have around 60% of the product being pushed by the trader. That means they are the shipper on record. And trader's main job is what? He gets an order, he procures the material and sends it. He doesn't know anything about the material per se or what are the complications there. So the trader community needs to be sensitized about the requirement of the regulation. A large amount of awareness needs to be carried out. We are doing that awareness program through ChemExcel. We are conducting a webinar of 1 hour on every quarterly basis to try to see that we can pass on the message of compliance. But it is only one step. A lot of other steps in the ecosystem needs to be taken simultaneously for India to become a compliant country.
And what's the comparison between India and other developed nations on this particular aspect?
Well, if you look at one old data which we had access to, when they did a survey in US over 18 months period to check how the compliance is happening, and their target audience was only the shipper and the forwarder, and they found out in that it's not only India, even big countries like China, Europe, US were all non-compliant. So the non-compliant business is an endemic problem across the world. It's just that because when I'm shipping a DG product, I have to pay a higher fees in terms of container cost and handling fees and all that stuff. And that is maybe a big issue where you have one hand a high cost and therefore the need to sort of reduce the cost by showing the shipment as non-DG. But if you're caught or something goes wrong, you will spend 15-20 times more the money that you're saved by coming down and showing as non-DG cargo.
Anything you would like to add from your side?
I think shows like this one, where they could bring in more logistic people around the place, could be a very good beginning to bring about the awareness related to the dangerous goods handling. Not only that, I would feel the government must create a task force, interministerial task force, because today we have civil aviation, we have shipping, then we have road. All of them are operating in a different space. They should all come together and create a task force and bring the stakeholder into the play and discuss such matters as to how we can bring compliance and make it more and more secured. Otherwise, because it's not only about safety, it's about security of the country as well, because many of the dangerous goods can also be used alternatively as IED or improvised chemical device, like we've seen ammonium nitride. I mean, the explosion that you saw in Beirut was crazy. I mean, I don't want a situation like that to happen in India. And that can only be avoided if we have far better interaction between different agencies on a regular platform. Whether it is the Commerce Ministry which should take the lead, or it is Shipping Ministry should take the lead. it depends on them, but shipping ministry caters to 95% of the trade volumes. So obviously they could be the right people to take that initiative.